Welcome to the Double R Show, the podcast that features everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, directed and produced by Paul Robertson and hosted by the voice of Lincoln City, Roger Robertson.
And welcome to the Double R Show. Double R here along with son Paul, and today we're going to get a couple of doctors in the house.
Yeah, it's Sports Medicine Week.
Sports Medicine Week. It is something that you'll really want to pay attention to because we got a gentleman that has got a lot of history with the NBA and the NFL.
Yeah, coming right after this big weekend of football, so we thought we'd bring this one to you.
And that's coming up right after this.
Zantello Law Group has moved. I'm Josh Zantello, and our law firm is now located across from the Lincoln City Community Center on Northeast 21st. Our law firm of knowledgeable professionals stand ready to assist you in life's matters.
You'll find a book for every occasion at Bob's Beach Books. Something to read as you relax by an open fire? We have it. Studying a particular topic? We have that too. Traveling to a far-off land? Discover it first by reading. Bob's Beach Books in the Ocean Lake area of Lincoln City? Come discover.
Dr. Jay Cox is with us, and in an earlier program, we had an opportunity to talk to him about the assassination of President Kennedy because he performed the autopsy on President Kennedy. Going to change gears and go to the NFL and the NBA. You were involved in both the NFL and the NBA.
That's correct.
How?
Well, I was taking my orthopedic residency at Bethesda Naval Hospital. And at that time, they farmed us out for our last year. And so I was going to become a children's orthopedist. So I went to a children's hospital in Baltimore, Maryland for my children's training. And while there, I started to see that two of our trainers were working with the Baltimore Bullets and the Baltimore Colts. And all of the athletes would come out to see them, and so I would get involved. They'd call me down every time to get my opinion and what was going on. And so eventually I found out that the Baltimore Bullets, the NBA, now the Washington Wizards, did not have a team doctor. They supposedly had a GP, but all of the year I was there, he never showed up. So
Really?
That's correct. So I became the team doctor for the whole year, and I would go to all the home games, and I even went to some of the local games. I'd go on the bus with them up to New York or Philadelphia or local, because I was a full-time resident in the hospital, so I could only go in the evenings. But that was back in the days of Earl of Pearl Monroe and Wes Unseld and Bob Ferry and Kevin Lockery, and the big stars, of course, were Oscar Robertson and
the Big O.
Yeah, Big O, and Wilt Chamberlain. Got to
Wilt
see him.
Distilled.
Wilt saw him many times, and the interesting thing was that they didn't have the kind of care that they have nowadays. And I ran into Lockery and Bob Ferry later, and they said, you used to take care of our kids and our family and everything else. He said, now these guys get a hangnail and they're off across the country to see somebody, especially. So that was the association with the Bullets. And then whenever I got back from Vietnam, I was at the Oakland Naval Hospital, and every time they'd make the West Coast swing, I'd hook on with them and go to Sacramento and San Francisco and down and play the Lakers and the Clippers. And so I got to do that for 3 or 4 years. And then with the NFL, I was taking care of the Colts back in Baltimore. And when I got back from Vietnam, Ed McDonald, the team orthopedic surgeon for the Colts, called me one day and said, hey, the Colts are playing the Raiders in exhibition game. He says, I can't make it. Can you cover it for me? I said, sure. So I went out that night and covered the Colts in the exhibition game. They played the Raiders, met the Raiders team doctor that night, and he had been flying up from L.A. And so he said, well, would you help me? So I became the Raiders assistant. and did that for a few years. And I was only about 2 miles from their training camp, and I could go over and take stitches out and do things like that for the regular position. And so happened at the end of the year, the Colts were hosting the Oakland Raiders for the championship game. And this time, the Raiders doctor called and said, I can't make the trip. Can you get permission to
So you got to
go
walk to the other side of the field.
Yes. So I was on the Raiders side for the championship game, and that was when Johnny Unitas was the quarterback for the Colts, and I think they beat us like 27-17. But I was on the Colts side from the beginning, Raiders side at the end, and they each gave me 2 tickets for the Super Bowl that year. So,
You had 4 tickets to the Super Bowl?
yes, and tickets at that time was like Super Bowl V were only $25 a piece.
Yeah, another 2,500 to 3,000 to 5,000.
Exactly. Yes. Uh-huh.
Does the NFL do enough, in your estimation, today to protect the players?
Absolutely. Things have changed so much. For instance, in the way of concussions, the only thing we had on the sideline, I would take the player's helmet away from them. That prevents them from getting back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
If the trainer would take the helmet and hide it. And then that way, the only assessment I had was ask general questions. And if I thought he was okay, I'd have a player in his position come and sit and ask him the different plays, because it's so complicated in football that if the player knew all the plays in his assignments, then I'd let him go back in. I mean, that meant he was okay.
In your time with the NFL and the NBA, greatest players you ever saw in the NBA, greatest player you ever saw in the NFL?
I'd say David Robinson was one of the best. And
Well, now we're talking about a Navy guy.
well, I was at Navy when it was through. That's another story.
Yeah.
Because the Navy finally decided if I was going to do this pro stuff, they sent me back to the Naval Academy. So I was a team doctor for all the sports for 10 years at the Naval Academy.
Very good.
And then when I got out of the Navy, I finally went up to Penn State and was with Paterno and the Nittany Lions for the end of my career. So
That's quite a career, Doc, anywhere you cut it.
yes, yeah. And I was some great coaches. Shula was with the Colts when I was there, and John Madden with the Raiders, and George Welsh with the Navy, and Joe Paterno. So I had some good coaches.
And some good coaches. It's great to have you here, Doc. Do appreciate it. I am thrilled now to know that I know somebody that is not only with the NBA, but the NFL. Dr. Jay Cox. Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Northwest Septic Service is your one-stop shop for all your septic needs.
Northwest Septic Service offers pumping, maintenance, repair, and inspections with one call, 541-994-6977.
Buying or selling a home? Northwest Septic Service can inspect your sewer line or an entire septic system.
Old or failing septic system? Northwest Septic Service can rejuvenate most drain fields, saving you thousands of dollars. 541-994-6977.
Serving Lincoln, Tillamook, and Yamhill counties, Northwest Septic Service.
Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas. Saturday, March 1st, Chinook Winds Casino Resort. Starship. Tickets are on sale now at ChinookWinds.com, Chinook Winds box office, or by phone at 1-888-MAIN-ACT. The journey continues. Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas. Chinook Winds, where concerts are better at the beach.
Dr. Lesley Ogden from Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital in Lincoln City, Pacific Communities Hospital in Newport, joins us next on the podcast. And you have some staggering numbers in relations to the number of orthopedic surgeries and visits at our local hospitals. I am stunned.
Absolutely. We are thrilled to look at our numbers over the past few years. We have had over 500 orthopedic surgeries performed at our hospital, Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital, and we've had well over 5,000 clinic visits for orthopedics and podiatry over the past couple of years alone. So, yeah, we are really increasing the amount of patients that we're seeing related to orthopedic and podiatry sorts of issues.
How do you do that? I mean, is there that volume of business for a doctor to relocate here for orthopedics, or what do you do?
Yes, there is. Believe it or not, we have a county that has over half of us age 50 and older, and we are prime candidates for orthopedic types of injuries and needs. But really, it has been a problem over the years because we had a model previously that brought us one orthopedic surgeon at the time, right?
Okay.
We had
Yeah.
the orthopedic surgeon who had to sort of be everything to everybody. They had to try to serve as much as they could, but no one can do 24/7, 365. And so we always had those times where we didn't have an orthopedic surgeon on call because we had to give them some time off, or they took a vacation or something and were out of the area. Now we have affiliated with a group called Synergy,
Okay.
and they are a group of physicians that provide orthopedic surgery coverage, in particular for critical access hospitals, amongst other things that they do.
And critical hospitals are the small rural hospitals, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
There are small rural hospitals just like we are, and they have a program where they can provide that 24/7, 365 that we're actually looking for. And how they do that is they and we work together. We partner and contract for 3 orthopedic surgeons, or 4, depending on how frequently they want to rotate. But if it's a 3-person team, they are assigned to us. They become our medical staff members. So people who work with us all the time, and they do 10 days a stretch. And during that 10 days, and you can see how 10 times 10 times 10, that's pretty much a month.
Sure.
So they rotate through, one does a third of each month, and they do all of the call during that time. So they're 24/7 on call. They handle all of the surgeries that need to be done during that time. They handle all of the clinic visits and basically become our everything for that time that they are there. And they're able to do that because they will get a break the remainder of the month.
So you actually house those doctors here for a period of time, and then they perform as if they have been here all of their lives.
Right. And some of them fly in and take care of us for 10 days and fly back out, but the majority of them actually end up buying houses here and living amongst us permanently because we are a lovely vacation destination as well. So yes, the vast majority just come to live here and work here as well.
Now, when you talked about 500 surgeries, does the same thing happen with the Pacific Communities Hospital as well?
Correct. They have their own team as well of Synergy orthopedic surgeons, and so the exact same thing is happening there. You got it. So we have our own at North Lincoln, and they have their own at Pacific Communities, and that way we have the capacity to handle all of the orthopedic needs that are in our communities, and they're pretty vast.
I would have to think so. Again, going back to the age, speaking for myself, I can see where that can come about, because we're not talking about somebody coming off the football field primarily here in Lincoln County.
Right. We do have some traumatic injuries coming off the football field, so to speak, or off a hiking trail, or even just falling in your own home. But we also have a vast majority of people who wear out their joints and may need a new knee or a new hip, or, maybe hurt that shoulder and it has just bothered them over time, and we can do that shoulder surgery that brings them back, a lot of carpal tunnel and things along those lines as well. So when we hire our orthopedic surgeons, they have specialties, no doubt, from their prior careers.
Sure.
But when we hire them, they understand that they are here to do sort of bread and butter orthopedics, and we especially need some new knees and hips along the way.
I love it. That to me is ingenious.
It is a very unique model, and it's been working well for us for about the past 5 years. We've had it in place, and we're just seeing it grow and grow.
We got just a few seconds left, Dr. Ogden, but I wanted to bring us back to the new pharmacy that is at the hospital now, and people can bring in their prescriptions and have them filled right at the hospital, correct?
Correct. They absolutely can. They can call and get their prescriptions switched if they're at another pharmacy and they want to do that. They can come in and do that. They can bring new prescriptions there, however they want to do it. Absolutely. We are just another pharmacy resource for them. And we are open 6 days a week and even have extended hours till 7 p.m. On most nights. So hopefully that satisfies everybody.
Dr. Lesley Ogden, Samaritan North Lincoln Hospital, Pacific Communities Hospital, thank you. And again, thank you for bringing another pharmacy, much needed pharmacy, to the area.
Yes, we're super excited. Come see us.
Wouldn't it be great to have all your insurance needs handled by one agency? This is Charlotte Lado with Farmers Insurance and the Insurance Store. Visit our office next to the Wildflower Grill in Lincoln City. Let us be your one stop for your personal, commercial, health, and Medicare insurance needs.
We at La Roca are proud of our food, but don't take our word for it. Read the reviews. One person wrote, "The service was friendly and efficient." Another writes, "La Roca has become one of our favorites because it's authentic Mexican food."
One of the single biggest events on the Oregon coast is forthcoming. It is not in Lincoln City, but the major sponsor of the event is from Lincoln City. What we're talking about is the Newport Seafood and Wine Festival. The major sponsor is Chinook Winds Casino Resort. With us is Heather Hatton. That's quite a combination upcoming, is it not?
Yeah, it's an incredible event. We took over the lead sponsorship about 16 years ago. And it was right after, I've been at the casino, it's my 20th year. And they came to us because their lead sponsor backed out. And I went to my boss at the time and I said, we can't let this go. This is our backyard. And it's got thousands of visitors. And when I worked at the News Guard years ago, from 92 to 2005, I volunteered my time down there for different organizations.
Sure.
And, I remember, when the glass breaks and everybody's, ooh, and you go and pick it up. And it was a pretty fun event. And so, yeah, we said, yeah, we want it. We want to take that on. And it was a little bit more of an undertaking than I think our team expected.
So what do you do? What does the casino staff do at the Newport Seafood and Wine Festival?
Yeah, a lot more than I think most sponsors do, right? Because a lot of times when you're presenting sponsor, you're like, I just want a banner up there and I want you to mention this in your press releases and do all that. And then we're good. We don't do that. So we wanted to be hands-on, kind of guerrilla marketing per se,
Sure.
where you're, your feet on the street. And so we have a booth down there. We started out with just a blackjack table, and it was fun. And I'm like, I can count to 21. So we had some dealers down there, and then when they're like, I'll split it. I'm like, I'm out, right? I don't know how to do that. So, and that was fun. And we were handing out like some extra items that we had from redemptions, which the first couple of years was like, we had these stuffed bears, Bear of the Month.
Sure, okay.
Bearable Mondays and all that. And so we would just hand out fun items. And then what used to happen was the sponsor dinner was a Thursday night. And it was originally, they had like 7 different restaurants provide that. Well, our executive chef, Jack Strong, in about 2009, I believe, he's like, well, we want to do it all. And so we started just cooking for the sponsor dinner. It's about 300 people, and we provided dinner.
You provide all of the food for the dinner?
We
My
do.
goodness.
So our culinary team is exceptional. And so Michael Durham, he's our executive chef. Jesse Valle, he is our banquet sous chef. I'm butchering that title, I guarantee it. But he is the one that really oversees all the banquet meals and organizing anything that's offsite as well. And so our team comes down there. They will be setting up with us on Wednesday in the VIP tent and putting together a pretty good menu for the sponsors. And so they do that. And then years ago when Will Robertson, he was our operations director at the time, he was like, well...
No relation
to you guys. He said, why are we doing blackjack? Everybody wants craps is where it's at, right? Craps table. I'm like, okay. Well, that takes a whole nother thing where it's like I have to get the facilities team together. We have to make sure we have, get a truck with a lift.
You take the actual craps table?
Yeah, so not from the floor.
Casino.
No.
No,
okay. we have a training one that we take down there. Yeah,
Very
because let me tell you, there's some wine stains on that bad boy. Because people tend to hang out. There's a shelf down below. They can put their wine glass and they can chill. And the dealers, I mean, it fills up so quickly. They love coming to that event. It is a lot for them. They have to speak over all the noise and all the music and all the talking and then dealing with the people who have had
way too much
their spirits lifted. And they, it doesn't cost anything to play. We just have fun. But you can learn how to get around a craps table down there. And it's fun. So while they're doing that, we're handing out fun items. And this year it's going to be a lot of 30th anniversary items.
Does it draw that many people from the Newport area to Lincoln City after the doors close, if you will?
Yeah. In fact, I wish I would have pulled those numbers because what we do is we hand out slot play, right? So we give out sand dollars at the event because we need to track also, like, is this beneficial for us, right?
Yep.
Is it beneficial for North County? And it is. We do bring some of our players down there, but even taking them out, we get a lot of players from Eugene, Salem, Portland. We get, through there's a lot of international travelers that come through that event.
Sure.
So, yeah, we do see a lot of that. And I would dare to say that I think if they looked at the hotel numbers historically on Seafood and Wine weekends, I guarantee that North County also sees a pretty good high lodging percentage.
I was told once upon a time that the Seafood and Wine Festival not only filled every hotel room in Newport, but the entire county.
I would imagine that's got to be true. I can't imagine that Newport can handle all the hotel rooms. Plus, I believe, and I'm not positive, it used to be that we had more hotel rooms than they did. So we also have, Yachtly crew coming in that weekend. So we've got a lot of things happening at our place and their place. So, and every year it happens that way where we have a big show going on. And so we're
Which
booked.
makes sense.
Yeah. So we're already booked. There's no hotels no rooms at the inn, let's say, usually. And so it does fill the county. And I think that it would behoove everybody to be ready for, because it gets out at 6:00 on Saturday. So 6:00 Saturday, and then it gets out at 4:00 on Sunday. So a lot of times when people are coming back and they're heading home, they're going to stop and do things. Friday is 12 to 9, so people are done at that point. They're not going to be out and about. And if you want to go, Thursday night or Sunday, those are the two I say to go to. Sunday is really good because that's a lot of times when people are trying to get rid of their items. They don't want to take them home. I'm handing out cases of cards like it's candy. I'm like, I don't want to drive this home. So, that's I would say Thursday or Sunday are two really good local days.
And stop at the craps table.
Please do.
Roll the bones with Heather Hatton from Chinook Winds Casino Resort. More in a moment. If you're looking for great early garden fresh produce, it's Kenny's IGA in the Bay Area of Lincoln City. 4 generations of Morgans caring for your every grocery need. All of your favorite beverages, a full deli, meat, produce, and of course, groceries.
We may be young, but we are experienced. Hi, Adina Zeller here, and Zeller's restaurants are now a year old, but the experience in preparing and serving food goes way back generations. Zeller's Lincoln City and Rose Lodge. Come on in.
It has been an interesting time on a Double R show, and our thanks to Dr. J. Cox, Dr. Lesley Ogden, and Heather Hatton for joining us. Some activities upcoming in and around the Lincoln City area. Monday, February 24th, 6 o'clock, City Council meets in Chambers. And on the 27th at 3 o'clock, Community Sustainability Committee. On Wednesday, March 5, the Library Board, City Council again. March 10th, the first meeting for the new month. Nearly Dan performing the music of Steely Dan. David and Susan Gomberg are presenting a special concert upcoming at the Lincoln City Cultural Center Friday, February 28th. Reserved seating, $25 all tickets, and call the Cultural Center to get your tickets in as well. You've got a big event, Paul, forthcoming that has to do with the ocean, if you will, and all of the sand and creatures about us.
Yeah, actually, we have this event coming up on the 20th February from 6 to 7:30. It's upstairs at the Pelican Brewing. It's all about marine mammals. So we've got a couple researchers and folks coming down from Newport that are going to talk about marine mammals. So come down, Pelican Brewing, February 20th, 6 to 7:30. But you want to make sure you register online.
Register online, get yourself, make certain that you got a place to sit because you have limited seating.
Yeah, we do. But we have another event there actually this weekend. So Saturday, we've got an event up at the library. That's the Biosphere Day at the library mentioned last time. From 1 to 4. Come on up. Learn a little bit about what it is to do here in the Lincoln City area with the Cascade Head Biosphere and explore some puzzles and games and the like, and just get acquainted with your UNESCO site here in Lincoln City at the Driftwood Library, again, Saturday from 1 to 4.
And it is very easy to become involved with the Cascade Head because there are things you can do that don't cost you any money.
Yeah. This is, of course, free event, as is the marine mammal one. So just go online to cascadehead.org for more information.
The AARP Foundation Tax Aid is providing tax assistance to anybody free of charge, and the focus on taxpayers over the age of 50 and low-income people as well. You don't need to be an ARP member to use this service, and it all takes place at the Driftwood Public Library. Big band music, music and dance, Lincoln Pops, third Thursday of every month, 7 to 9:30, out at the Gliding Beach Community Club. Admission is $10 at the door, cash only, please. Complimentary dance lessons start at 6 o'clock. You've had some dance lessons with Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, you had reminded me about that a few months ago when we were on that cruise ship, and I'd forgotten. Yeah, it was pretty fun. We were on stage, but this, I think, is the big one to catch next, right?
Yes, absolutely. It'll be fun. And the 20th anniversary event of the Lincoln City Glass Center is going to be taking place. Kelly Howard is going to join us next week and talk about this special event because she's going to be doing something rather unusual, and that is blowing this glass float that is absolutely humongous. Larger than the one she did, 4 or 5 years ago for the same event. So that's going to be interesting. We'll talk with Kelly next week about that. Anything else your side of the table?
I think we're clear from here.
And that'll do it to the doings on a Double R show. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so you, your family, and friends around the world and across the street can join us on a Double R show. For Jana and Paul, I am Double R. Have yourself a happy day.
You've been listening to The Double R Show. Join Roger and Paul Robertson as they explore everything about North Lincoln County. The Double R Show, produced by Always Productions and hosted by Roger Robertson. Have a story? Email contact@alwaysproductions.com or call 458-201-3039. For The Double R Show, I'm Jana Grawn.